maybe that's a okay, so here is just our welcome to any of the students that are joining us here this morning. Again, thank you all for coming today. We will be working through how to properly navigate Lincoln Interactive, and these are primarily independent courses, or they are all independent courses. And so what that means is that Lincoln Independent teachers are not our own WVL teachers. Those are teachers that we use to contract out to, and they're actually scattered across the United States. And so we don't see these teachers face to face. We have relatively little contact with them, but they are there to help you guys in every way through your classes as you have questions that may arise. Here is a list of some of the Lincoln Interactive independent classes that are available out there. So perhaps some of you are in these classes, and if you don't see it listed on there, maybe you had worked something out to see if there were other availabilities. But these are the classes that are offered with Lincoln Interactive, and so you probably see some familiar course offerings on there. Timing is such an important issue with independent classes, and anybody who has had an independent class understands that the deadlines can tend to sneak up a bit more in those classes than on the virtual classes, because in virtual classes you have live teachers that are telling you, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do this, and this is due on Friday, or this is due on Monday, and you have those constant reminders. But with an independent class like Lincoln Interactive classes, it's really up to you. You have to monitor your progress there. And your SLA will do that to some extent, but your SLA isn't contacting you every day to get your work done on time and in a manner that makes sense, to a pace that would be most suitable for you. So what we've done and what we try to do is give students a pacing chart here, and this is just I pulled a screenshot of the pacing chart. This isn't the comprehensive one that you guys would have received or that you have available to you. This is just so you understand what it is that I'm referring to when I say pacing chart, or if your SLA is referring to a pacing chart. This is exactly what it looks like. But you can see that it is accurate to this year. So school starts on September 2nd. You see that in green in the upper right. And then what it does is it lists the unit and lesson that you should be working on at any given point to let you know how far along you need to be coming on a given date. So on September 10th, you should be on Unit 1, Lesson 4. On October 7th, you should be on Unit 2, Lesson 2, and so forth. And you have that through the course of the semester. So, like I said, that is available. You should have received it already. If you have not, you can contact your SLA, and they'll get that to you promptly. Any questions about the pacing right now? Okay, very good. We'll move on. So I want to spend a bulk of this orientation showing you guys how to navigate the courses. And even for you students who have been with us for years and have used and are used to the older format, or the prior format of Lincoln Interactive, things are a lot different now. They changed their learning management system as well. They went with a program called Brain Honey, and so the navigation is a little bit different than what you have come to expect over the years. So it's a little bit different this year. It's not overwhelming, but it is different, and I'd like to be here to be able to show you what you need to do in order to be successful in these classes. So starting out is to log into the course, and you do that through Launchpad. You can access the class through Launchpad, so hopefully you've all gotten to that point already. But then once you're in Launchpad, there will be a Lincoln Interactive icon in there. So you'll click on that, and then you can just type in your username and password. You only have to do this one time because the whole purpose of Launchpad is to act as a single sign-on. So once you log into Launchpad and type in your credentials for each individual site for the first time, it will save that information, and then when you click on that link or you click on that icon, it will direct you to that site without having to log in again. So it saves you time and trying to memorize all your different logins. And then once you're into Lincoln, make sure that you select the course, and if you're enrolled in more than one, make sure it's the correct course. Pretty self-explanatory. And don't worry guys, I'm going to be going through and showing you an example of a Lincoln course once we get going here. The focus is not so much on these slides as it is showing you the actual navigation of the course. So when you are submitting work in Lincoln, it's different than what it would be for your other courses like WVL courses with your teachers, for WVL teachers. So what that means is you cannot share documents with Lincoln Interactive teachers in Google Drive because they are not a part of the WVL staff. And so they don't have the same access that our staff does to those documents. So you do not use Google Drive for Lincoln Interactive. What you will use is a Dropbox for them. And you can use the Microsoft Suite for that. And what that is, that's going to be your Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, so on and so forth. And so you can use that using a school computer. Every school computer has that software on it, and you can use that. So you can use the Microsoft Suite in order to complete your assignments, but then you have to make sure that you upload them in documents in the Dropbox, as I've indicated in the upper left-hand area here. You can, if you need a photograph of anything for whatever reason, you can convert that to a JPEG and submit it there. But huge disclaimer down here at the bottom, teachers in Lincoln Interactive cannot and will not accept work by email. So if you're trying to get an assignment in, they cannot and will not accept work there. It will not be graded, it will not be scored, nothing will happen with it. So do not do that. Make sure you're submitting your work as it's explained in this presentation and in the actual course itself. So please be aware of that. When it comes to communicating with people at Lincoln Interactive, again, you're going to have a Lincoln Interactive teacher. So the best way to contact them is going to be by email, and that is found within each course as well. So you're going to see their contact information in the actual classes themselves. The teachers will also leave grade books. They will leave comments in the grade book, and so if you submit something, a paper or a quiz or what have you, chances are they'll comment on that and give you some feedback as to how to improve on the next assignment. And that's really valuable because it's how you improve. So if you submit something and the teacher gets back to you about it and offer some suggestions, well, if you follow those suggestions, the only way you can go is up from that previous assignment. So they'll help you to work toward those higher levels if you follow their suggestions. If at any point you are having difficulty with your courses, no matter what it might be, you can contact your SLA, but make sure that you do that promptly. Do not wait to have your SLA contact you, because that's going to be every couple of weeks or 3 weeks, but you need to let somebody know, let the teacher know or let your SLA know if you're having issues with the course, because it's easier to address when it's done right away rather than waiting. So if you have an issue on a Monday, don't wait until Thursday to let somebody know about it. Don't wait until Friday to let somebody know about it, because it's all that time, the more assignments are getting passed by, and it's going to be that much more to have to make up in the end. Make sure that you follow that pacing chart as a minimum pace. Do not fall behind that pacing chart, because then you may not be able to finish in the course of the semester. So make sure that you are working with that pacing chart that we saw earlier in the presentation, 3 slides ago I think it was. the Lincoln Interactive pacing chart. That's the minimum pace you should be following. Don't fall behind that because you wouldn't be able to complete the course within a semester then. These connections, so the term connections actually is an outdated term. It's called Applied Knowledge Assessments now, or AKAs. And so you're going to be using those AKAs as written assignments or subjective. It's not a quiz or anything like that. Mrs. Brown put that in the chat box there. They're called AKAs, Applied Knowledge Assessments. It's written work. And so you'll be able to submit that material as it comes up in your class. As for communication continued, when it comes to emailing the teacher, this is how you do it. This is the structure that you have to follow because they have their protocols for communication with students. And so what that means is they'll want you to include these bullet points, but in order to find the email for your teacher, it'll be in Meet Your Teacher within the class. It'll be over on the left-hand side with all the other links. And it'll say Meet Your Teacher. They'll give a brief narrative about who they are and what they enjoy and help you get to know them a little bit better. But then they'll also have their email contact information. When you email them, use your school email, the one that's been assigned to you from WVL. Use your school email in Gmail to contact them. And you'll do that by including your first and last name, your student ID, and your student ID at Lincoln is your email without the @nosd.edu. So that's going to be the numbers 17 WVL A Johnson, let's say. And that's going to be your student ID is how that is structured at Lincoln so that they can know who it is that they're working with. Make sure that you put your course name in there because a lot of these teachers teach multiple classes, and so if they just have some students saying, I don't understand Unit 2, Lesson 3, well, they don't know what that means, what class is it. So they teach multiple classes, and that's only compounded by the fact that they teach students from around the nation. So be very detailed. So refer to the part and section that is in question, and then also the unit and the lesson you're referring to. So put all of that at the top of your email, or start that with your email, and then go into detail after that. The easier that you can make it on the teacher, the more they're going to appreciate it, and the better results you're going to get from them when it comes to asking for assistance. So again, that's specific to the teacher. If you have questions about the content or the curriculum, or something may not have gone through properly, that's the way that you go about contacting them. If there are technical issues that folks here at WVL or your SLA cannot answer, or is beyond our control, you're going to get in touch with technical support at Lincoln Interactive, and I have their contact information over here. I see now that the email that I had put in there didn't fit, so it's kind of placed in there awkwardly, so I apologize for not having made that cleaner for you. But that's the email that you would contact them at, and you can otherwise give them a phone call here. More often than not, they request that you submit a help ticket that they'll get to as they're able to. Any questions on the communication piece at all? All right, I think we're making good progress here. So what I would like to do next is actually log into a Lincoln Interactive course and show you all what it is that these classes look like in case you haven't been in there yet, or if you have been, maybe I can help clarify some things for you. So I'm going to put it on pause here for a moment, and I will return while I pull that up. One moment. And you can feel free to ask Mrs. Brown questions as you're waiting.
Um, some of you who were with us last year are seeing that one of your classes from last spring is still located in there. I have noticed that also, but it's okay. Don't worry about it at this point. It is our understanding that those people at Lincoln are taking care of that. So it'll get done, but just focus on those new ones that you have. And go ahead and get started after our orientation if you want to go ahead and practice navigating. I know that, Mr. Peterson's going to go through how to do that, but they have a great orientation section too that's going to be worthwhile looking into. So we'll cover all that. But again, if one of your classes is still there from last spring, if you are a current student coming back to the BVL, don't worry about that. That'll be removed sometime soon. Thanks.
All right, so by this point, all of you, and thank you for that, Mrs. Brown, you folks should be able to see my Launchpad on here. Is that correct? So hopefully that's a familiar site to some of you guys. You're not going to have all the same icons that I have, but it's at least familiar territory for you. So in order to get into a Lincoln class, you're going to log into Launchpad, and then you'll have a Lincoln icon on there. In my case, it's under Curriculum Providers, and so I would have to go over here. It's going to be Lincoln Interactive, and I'll click there, and that will take me to a site where I will input my, that'll take you to a site where you'll input your login information, and you only have to do that the first time because every time thereafter it'll be saved, and as long as you're going through Launchpad, it will direct you to the site. You won't have to worry about logging in again. So again, you'll get into Lincoln Interactive. That'll redirect you. And let's get into the course itself here. Oh, and it logged me out. All right, I'm going to have to log back in here. One moment.
As the course is being loaded right now, when we showed you that pacing chart earlier, please just make sure that you have that available, and if you don't have that, let your SLA know. It is designed that you have all semester to complete the course. You have like 2 days to do each lesson, and then there's some time in that schedule for unit reviews and unit exams. Some of you had asked, can you go at a quicker pace? And absolutely, as long as you're learning the material and doing quite well in there. We don't want it to be a race, but we just really want you to do well in the course. A few of you that may be participating have plans where you may try to finish it by midterm so you can get a new course rather than have multiple courses at one time. So there's some special circumstances out there, but otherwise follow that pacing chart and you'll be successful. You'll have finished the course by the end of the semester 1.
All right, thank you again. And so you guys should see a list of courses on here right now. This is your landing page, and it'll just list your classes, and you can click on the list that you have there. And in this case, we're looking at Economics Part 1. Can you guys see Economics Part 1? All right, wonderful. So Lincoln Interactive has done a nice job to partner with the program Brain Honey to streamline matters for students, so navigation is a bit more intuitive for you and you have an easier time making it through your classes and focusing on the content more so than trying to understand how to navigate everything. So they also have a lot of helpful information in there, and my recommendation is going to be to have you just start at the very top as you log into your classes and work your way through this list. Navigation takes place over here on the left side of the screen. And we'll move that over to make some more room, but this is where you're going to see that on the left side of the screen. And you can follow through each of these. It'll expand as you click on each one. But you start with class information, you can go to the course guide, then they have resources as well. It's this area that you're going to find how to contact your teacher, the information to use for that, and then as far as more specific course information, they have the welcome page right here. They also show you how to navigate the class. They have all these nice videos here because they know students have questions. And so if you're ever having trouble navigating your Lincoln class, start with these. Kind of see if any of these links address what it is you're having trouble with. And then if you're still having issues, contact your SLA or your teacher in order to sort it out. But I think this will really encompass everything that a student might have trouble with. They have the communications component in here. Announcements is always a nice place to check out from time to time in the event that perhaps a teacher is going on vacation or there's a mistake on a test that all the students need to know about. The teacher is going to post that information in the announcements section here, so make sure you check that. I'd say probably at least once a week just to make sure that you're up to speed on any big news that comes through. I'll collapse that one too far. One more, there we go. Technology tips. So they also have information on how to use the software that's on your computer. So how to use Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, so on and so forth. Taking a screenshot if you ever have to do that for a teacher. Saving and backing up information. So they have some nice pointers in there. This is an important one. Uploading assignments and your AKAs. Again, that stands for Applied Knowledge Assessment. And so you can click on any of these that will, especially this one right here, because a lot of you are in courses that will have written work that needs to be submitted, so you'll do that using the information within the Applied Knowledge Assessment instructions there. And then once you jump right into the course, pretty straightforward, 4 units, and each of them have lessons within those units. So this is Unit 1. They give you a little description, and then you click on Unit 1, and then this is your lesson. So you take a look. Say you take a look at your Lincoln Interactive Pacing Chart. You find the day that you need to be working on, and then you just locate it here in the lesson section based on where you're at with the calendar, where you're at with your progress. So you go through this top to bottom, left to right, click on all the links that they have you click on, and at the end you'll click on the assignment. So this is the Unit 1, Lesson 1 assignment here. Redirects you to this page, and when you want to get going, you just click on Start. And typically it's a pretty short assignment, I think 10 questions or so, and that's just your basic lesson assessment for you. That's how a lot of the points are accumulated. You have a lot of those throughout the course of the class. Now there are also written assignments like this. I'm in Unit 1, Lesson 3 right now, and this little icon here lets me know that that's a paper there. That's Unit 1, Lesson 3, Assignment B. So I'm going to click on that, and this here will explain to you what the task for your assignment is, and you can open it up and it'll provide details as well. But this is where you find out more information about that particular assignment, and it's also where you'll be able to submit your work within that. So here, if I had to write a one-page paper about supply and demand in economics, okay, I did that in Microsoft Word, I saved it, and I want to upload that here into this Dropbox. So then I would click Choose File, and I would find it on the computer, save it on there, I'll hit Save on here, but then I have to make sure that I submit it in here. So make sure that you follow all those steps to make sure that the paper gets to where it needs to go. And they give you some more instructions on how to do that exactly. But if you're looking at it here, you have all these units to work through, and then you have a final exam as well. For some of the Lincoln Interactive classes, you have a paper copy of your textbook as well as an online textbook. You can find that right here. Typically it takes a long time to download, so I'm not going to open it up right now. But within your class, if you are traveling or you prefer to read your material online, this is the way that you go about doing it. Click on Online Textbook, and you would click here, and it will open that up for you. So that's the way that they would do that. Let me think. Checking grades. So if you want to be monitoring your progress, or you want to know how we monitor your progress, we'll be doing it up here along the top, this navigation along the top here. So this gives you a list of all your different lessons and assignments, the due dates for those. Now, I wouldn't pay much attention to these due dates because they do not align with the pacing chart that we have provided for you. So again, do not pay attention to the due dates over on the right-hand side of this course. Do follow your Lincoln Interactive pacing chart, or the pacing that your SLA and you have worked together on. But you can actually access the assignments by clicking right on these here. So that's a nice feature. It just lists it all right here for you. And then as you complete those, you'll have a score and when it was submitted over here toward the right. The activity right now, you're seeing it'll list activity to let you know how much progress you've made in your class. And you won't have to have all that guesswork. But this is the way that we go about finding that information here at school as well. Any questions about any of this so far? So I think there was a question that asked how I navigated to this course. Once I logged into Lincoln Interactive, the courses are listed here, and I just clicked on the proper course and it redirected me to the class itself. Does that make sense? Richard, I got to that page through Launchpad and logging into Lincoln Interactive. Once you log into Lincoln Interactive, that's the first place it'll take you. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so it is it's at the top here, and I know you guys can't see that, but it's just above where the course information, all of the units and everything here are listed. So it's right above that, very plain, black and white. You can't miss it. It says grades. It says grades right up at the top, and you will find that. I'd also like to take a moment to show you some neat features here, guys. This is something that you were unable to do with Lincoln Interactive, and this is some of the interactive software that they've implemented with Brain Honey. So are you guys able to see the what is this, 8 squares at the top with little icons in the upper right part of the lesson? Okay, it doesn't look like it. Give me 1 second and I'll adjust something here.
There was a question about how did Mr. Peterson get into that page with all the assignments listed. When you go into the gradebook, you'll also be able to see that per specific course. So you would click on, you have your home page, you click on your course, then you can go into the gradebook and it will let you see. There's a couple different ways you can do that. You can do it from the home page and you can do it from the course. So it's pretty cool. If you get more questions, just let us know as you go along.
Okay, now can you guys see those icons in the upper right? Okay, very good. All right, so this is what I'm referring to up here. These are some handy little tools that students can use within each lesson. So let's just say you're in the middle of a lesson and you would like it to, maybe you're an auditory learner. What that means is somebody who learns best by hearing things. So maybe you're not as strong in understanding material by reading, but when you hear something, it sticks a little bit better. Or you can do both. Some students will do both. In order to do that, what you'll do is you'll just highlight the part that you want read to you, and you'll click on the first button here up at the left with a little chat window and the 3 dots in it. And that'll start reading that to you. The voice will read what you've highlighted to you. Okay, see, and that's important to know that, Cormac, the type of learner that you are. That probably helps you a lot in your schooling to understand that. So if you have the highlighted material, you can click it here and it'll read it to you. And if you want to highlight the whole lesson, you can do that too. All you'll have to do is click the play button, and then you can stop it by hitting the red square. So again, in order to do that, you highlight, click play. It'll transfer it here, and then click play, and then it'll stop it here. Another feature is a translation feature. So I'm going to highlight the word military, and I want that translated for whatever reason. So they have those translations right here for a number of, looks like Spanish. You can also check out other words too. You can go through, and if you have a question about any of that, that's the way that you can do that. They also have a dictionary. So I want to define opportunity, so I'll highlight that, and there you go. It gives you that. It also will speak it to you as well. So you just go through and highlight if there's anything in there that you don't understand. Margin, maybe that's a new concept to you, so you look that up. It'll give you definitions, the single or multiple definitions that there might be for that. Cormac, you mentioned that you're a visual learner, and so sometimes students find that if something has a colored background, that it makes more sense to them, or it'll stick a bit more. You can highlight different parts of the lesson. So okay, that seemed important to you, so you highlighted that. And then this seems like an important question, so I'm going to go through and read and highlight that. Oh, this up here looked like I want to remember this stuff. So that I'm going to highlight. And so the rest of it just seems like fluff to me. I don't think I need to know anything more about this stuff. Yeah, see, so the highlighting stays there, Lydia, and they actually have a way to pull all this information, the highlighted information, for you. And what that means is, like I said, as I was explaining, maybe the highlighted stuff are the only points that I think are important to this lesson. So the rest of it just seems like fluff to me. I don't think I need to know any of the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is click on this icon all the way to the right. It's a piece of paper with 3 arrows kind of making a condensing motion or movement, and it does just that. When I click on that, you can see here that it saves all that for you. So the first part that was highlighted is right here. For the second part of this lesson, further your understanding of thinking at the margin with an explanation by Alfred Marshall. You can see that at number 1 right here, and then they have number 2 and number 3. And then you can click there to select the text, but then also use Control-C to copy the text to the clipboard if you want to put it over to Microsoft Word or Google Drive, Google Docs, and use it as studying material, for example. So that's how you do that. And again, you do that by, well, here. And if you want to get rid of it all, then just click the white button. It'll ask you if you want to remove all highlights. You click OK, and then that erases it. So again, in order to highlight and condense, you highlight the actual material, and then click on the little icon third from the right with blue box with white lettering ABC, and you click on that, and then condense it, just hit the one all the way over to the right, and that'll extract all that information for you. Is that making sense to everybody? Any questions about this so far? Excellent. Well, it sounds like it's kind of sinking in for everybody. But those are the real neat features that we found with the transition that Lincoln Interactive made. So they have those features in the lessons for you, and then the navigation is all just right there on the left-hand side of the screen for you to work through. Anything that you need, just right there on the left side of the screen. And like I say, grades are right above that. You guys just aren't able to see it at this time. So I think that wraps up the navigation part. Mrs. Brown, am I missing anything, or did I skip over anything that you can remember with the navigation?
No, I don't think so, but some of you may notice the icons on the left side, those there that Ms. Peterson's pointing out, those are also explained in the orientation where it says course resources and course information. And some are like key points, those kind of things that are key ideas. So just kind of make sure you understand what those icons mean, and Lincoln does a fabulous job of just going through the lesson step by step, and then at the end of the lesson they do kind of another reminder as far as, okay, you should have taken these notes, read these pages, done this assignment, and now why don't you go take a quiz. So again, just do everything in the order they're given, and but for any of the courses, just like you're doing this week with the Canvas orientation, is just make sure you take that time to go through the orientation.
All right, well, I'm going to switch off the navigation piece here and get us back to our file sharing. All right, and that brings us to the end. I just want to know if there are any lingering questions right now. You guys can feel free to ask. I'm going to leave the recording on in case you guys have some good questions that other students might have down the road. But otherwise, if you'd like to have a more in-depth conversation about your specific classes, definitely get in touch with your SLAs and we'll be happy to help you guys. Any questions right now? If you're asking specifically about me, Richard, I do not do the orientation for every course. I only did the fuel education this morning and then this one here this afternoon. Teachers are responsible for doing the orientation in their specific classes, like Mrs. Zander did the orientation for math, Mr. Kahn did the orientation for social studies classes, but we don't break it down by every class here within the independent classes, only because there's so many and they're so much alike. All right, well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I would like to thank you for taking time out of your Friday afternoon before Labor Day to come join us. You guys are going to be so much further ahead next week by having come to this and attended this and asked all your questions and to work with each other. You guys are going to do fantastic. I really appreciate you guys coming out, and I know Mrs. Brown does as well. It's good to see all of you, and we are excited for the start of the school year next week. Great things are going to happen. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great weekend.